Welcome back, my dear students. In this occasion, we are still working on section 1.7. We are solving problem number 3 of section 1.7. In this occasion, we are finding distance between 2 points. In order for you to find distance between 2 points, you are going to have to be working with a formula. The formula for distance. The formula for distance is the square root of x2 minus x1 elevated to the second power plus y2 minus y1 elevated to the second power. As you remember, as we did in class, how do I know which one is point 1 and point 2? Easy. The first point will always be, well, the first point that you have, the first coordinate. So this one will be number 1, and this one here, the second point, will be number 2. So this way, it's easy for us to remember where goes what, or where each one goes, okay? We are going to then just replace the values. So for x2, we have that x2 will be for the second point, the coordinate for x, which in this case is 4, minus x1, which in this case is minus 1. And because we have a minus in front of another minus sign, we know that something interesting is going to be happening here. And then we replace the values for the coordinates y. y2 will represent the second point in the coordinate y, which is minus 3, minus the coordinate y for the first point, which is 5. All this elevated to the second power and then squared, okay? And then we're going to obtain the root of that value, the square root of that value, okay? So the first thing we're going to do, following order of operation, we're going to solve what's within the parentheses. And also we're going to remember that little rule of signs that we mentioned in class, that whenever we have a negative sign in front of a parenthesis, it will change the signs that are inside of the parenthesis. So in this case, we're going to have that 4 is going to be added to 7 and then elevated to the second power. Here we're going to have, according to what we learned in algebra, basic algebra, adding integers that have the same sign will be, the numbers will be added and the same sign will be placed. So in this occasion now, we're going to have that these two numbers are going to add up and then they're elevated to the second power, okay? So now the square root, we're going to have to add these two values, which in this case 4 and 7 is 11 elevated to the second power, and then 8, that is negative, elevated to the second power, okay? In this next step here, we're going to have that when I multiply 11 times 11, I'm going to have 121. And when I elevate 8 to the second power, I'm going to have 8 times 8, which is 64. Also, you got to be very careful that in class we explain the rule for signs, that whenever I am elevating a negative number to an even exponent, like 2 in this case, what's going to happen? One negative is going to multiply the other negative, and negative times negative is positive, so they're going to cancel each other out. Remember that we explained that in class, okay? So now this 64 is going to be positive because of that. So at the end, we're going to have then the value that is going to be added, 121 plus 64. So that adds up to make 5, 8, so 185. What is the square root for 185? Remember that practice that we had previously on square root. You can do it to practice, or you can use your calculator depending on the situation if it's allowed. And in this case, we're going to have that the square root for 185 is 13.60. Okay? So that would be all in relation to distance. So this is the distance, the calculation of how of distance between 2 points when I have the first the coordinate for both of the points. Okay, we use the formula for distance as we just explained. Remember to practice. See you in class. Bye.